الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ما بعد. Tonight's lesson is on wal-Marjan, a hadith from Bukhari and Muslim, page 150, volume 1, chapter number 28. The author says, Babu Tayammum. Chapter 28 says, Tayammum, rubbing of hands and face with clean earth in absence of water. Chapter 28, speaking on a tayammum. Not wudu, not ghusl, not istinja, not menstruation, not postnatal bleeding, but something pertaining to purification that is dry. It's not wet, it's not moist, but it's something that is totally dry. Does the tayammum only pertain to ritual purification? Raf'ul hadath? Or is it mubih? Is an allowance? It actually doesn't remove the ritual purification? Or does it also pertain to izalatul khabath or zawalul khabath? But here specifically izalatul khabath. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Removing physical impurities or taking the place or an absence of physical impurities. So therefore, at-tayammum says rubbing of hands and face with clean earth. Does it have to be earth or anything that has dust on it, dirt on it, or even something that has no dust and no dirt on it, but is from the earth, such as a smooth stone? Then we have the concept of an absence of water. Is the tayammum only used when water is not around, when water is absent? Or is it used other times as well? When the water is there, but it's too cold to use the water, or the water is far, or the water is very costly and very expensive, or a person has a wound, a cut, a bandage, an abscess, a boil, and they can't put water on that part of the body, or other reasons that will prevent a person from using water. So tayammum, rubbing of hands and face with clean earth in absence of water. That's what our discussion is going to begin on tonight, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. And tayammum, just like all other issues of Islam, just like all issues of fiqh, just like all other issues of purification, is extremely important. From the tangible point of view or angle, and also from the spiritual perspective. The spiritual perspective. To realize that our deen is a deen whose legislature is based off of, it's included in it, but it's based off of facilitation and ease. There's a huge difference between the two. Islam is easy. The Sharia is easy. The Sharia has ease in it. Or the Sharia is based off of ease. That's the asl, that's the default. To make things easy and simple upon the people. We've explained this before in other lessons, speaking on the student of knowledge, studying the wisdom behind the legislation. What's the wisdom of sujood as-sahw? And what does sujood as-sahw have to do with Allah's attributes, Allah's names? What does sujood as-sahw have to do with Sharia law and the doubts that the people say about Islam in the modern current day? Islam is a religion of terror. It violates human rights, animal rights, women's rights, religious minorities, and a list of things that you hear on the radio, see on the television, or you get the messages on your phone. So why study these different things? Number one, for you to benefit. for you to practice it properly. Number two, for you to grow in appreciation and for you to grow in love and respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His deen and His sharia. There's wisdom behind it and His mercy behind it. And it's not been placed to punish us, to torture us. We're not Muslims and follow the sharia just to be beat up. But the sharia is only placed to protect us, to keep us safe, to do that which is best for us, that which is positive for our souls, our minds, our bodies, our hearts. So that which is mandatory in the sharia is going to fall under those categories. That which is haram in the sharia is going to fall in violation of those categories. This thing is dangerous. It is bad for the mind, bad for the body. It is bad for the soul and for the spirit. Very important stuff here, guys, when we talk about learning fiqh and looking at the spirituality behind fiqh. It's hikmah, it's wisdom. And it's mercy for our souls and for our bodies. And from that is tayammum. Is that when you have to make wudu to pray, but you cannot make wudu to pray, Allah does not punish you. You don't have to make the salat up again later on. Delay the salat later on. Go really, really far. Make a huge difficulty upon yourself to get the water. No. Allah gives you a substitution. Allah gives you something to do when you can't do what He told you to do initially and originally. And there lies no doubt that is a type of kindness and mercy. There's a type of kindness and mercy. Allah told us to wash ourselves, to clean ourselves when we want to stand in front of Him and pray. And then because of our weak, poor human nature, we don't have the ability to wash ourselves sometimes because it's too cold, because there's no water at all, because I was wounded. For one reason or another, I can't get to water. I can't use water. But Allah still told me to do what? To wash when I wish to stand in front of Him. So Allah could punish me for that. I told you to wash when you wish to stand in front of me. If you cannot wash, you cannot find water, it's too cold, it's too expensive, that's your problem. You will be brought to account on Yawm al-Qiyamah. You're my slave, you're my servant. But that's not what Allah says, that's not what Allah does. Allah gives us a substitution because He knows, number one, that we're weak. And He also knows that we're human beings and things are going to happen. There are variables, there are situations, places, and scenarios. Everyone doesn't live near water. Everyone doesn't live in the desert. Everyone doesn't live with running water. Everyone doesn't live with the ability to heat up water and have hot water, a hot water tank in their house. Everyone doesn't live in a tropical area. People have to travel for business, to seek rizq, to seek ilm, to spread Allah's deen, to fight in His cause. For one reason or another, people are wounded, people are injured. So Allah knows these things, and He also told us to stand in front of Him and to wash ourselves. So this is an ultimate manifestation of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tayammum. And that the Muslim is always to be clean. And there's no excuse for a Muslim to be unclean. Clean yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically, all of the time. If you can't get to water, make tayammum, so you can be in a metaphysical state of purity. Everybody clear on this? And this applies to salah, to fasting, to marriage, to divorce, the iddah period, the nafaqah that you spend upon your wife when she's divorced. Why does a woman wait 3 menstrual cycles when she's divorced? Why isn't the divorce immediate and final, instantly? Why is it haram for you to marry your wife after you've divorced her the 3rd time? There's hikmah in all of these points of legislation. Some of the wisdom is clear to us, is plain to us. Some of the wisdom has been extracted and deduced by the great scholars of Islam, and they sat down and they investigated. And there are other points of wisdom, other points of hikmah that have not yet become clear to us, and we have not yet discovered, we have not yet found out about. And when those issues do appear that we don't necessarily know about why or how, we submit, because we can never ever forget, no matter how smart we think we are, no matter how much technology we think that we have, medical science, exploration, and the list goes on, technology, we are still slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who is the slave to say, I think and I feel, and what's considered to me? Who are we? That's why the Muslim can never ever forget. Rabbil Alameen. Allah is the Lord of all that exists. He owns us. He's our master. subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the slave has a brain, the slave has a mind, but the slave can never ever forget his place that he is a servant. He is a servant, and he is to implement and execute his master's will. Whether he understands it, whether it makes sense to him or not. That's why he's the slave, and that's why he is the master. So it's very important for us to understand these different points when we study the actual fiqh. When we study the fiqh and the rules and the laws, and we not get caught up and stuck just on the surface, the roof, but we scratch beneath the surface and look into the divine ease, the divine wisdom of all of these different rulings and regulations. For the spirit, some wisdom is for the spirit. This is immoral for you to do this. It will destroy you. It's a lead or a doorway to greed, to cowardice. And cowardice is destructive to the soul. It's destructive to the soul. This is going to lead to envy and jealousy. And there's some wisdoms that go back to the actual physical body. This food is harmful to the body. This drink is destructive to the body. Character, one's mind, and the list goes on. So that's how we have to study tayammum. What's the purpose of putting dirt on your face and your hands? What are you cleaning? What are you washing? Now you need to wash because you put dirt in your face and your hands. That is deeper than that. It's what? It's deeper than that. So that's what we want to discuss here, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, tonight. So we said the concept of clean earth, that's an issue in itself. And then it says in absence of water, that's also an issue in itself. Number one, we said, and we'll say it again, which we'll get into later, bi'idhnillah, does it have to be earth that you make the tayammum with? Or can you make the tayammum from a wall that has dust on it? Or can you make the tayammum with a stone that is smooth and has no dirt, no dust, no earth on it? Everybody understand this? Or does it have to be actual earth, soil? Can it be sand? Everybody clear on this? A piece of tree bark. Would you consider that earth?
Yes. No.
Without a doubt. No one will consider that what? Earth. It's different. Everybody clear on this? A stone. If it was connected, a piece of rock, a mountain, perhaps, but just a rock, a stone you picked off, no one would say what? Earth. So that's one issue. The next issue is in absence of water. Is that true? That tayammum, wiping your hand in your face, this spiritual, ritual, symbolic means of purification is because of absence of water? Or what if you had a whole gallon, a whole pint, quart, liter, tub of water, but I can't use the water? Because it's what? Too cold to put the water on my skin. I don't have no one. It's too hot. Anything. I have to drink the water. Anything. Everybody understand this? So it does not necessarily mean that the water has to be what? Absent, not there. A person can have a nasty wound, a bad cut, and put in the water is going to make the scab wet again. And it took days for the scab to become a scab, to become dry and heal eventually. Putting water is going to what? No, it's not going to make it work. It's not going to make it worse. It's going to delay the recovery. It's difference. Using water, which will increase you in sickness. That's one issue. It's one scenario. It's cold or even the wound itself. Infection, increasing in sickness. Now we have another one in which it's not going to increase the sickness, but it's going to do what? Delay the healing. Everybody clear on this? Or the water is extremely expensive. You're stuck on the side of the road, and the guy says, I'll sell you this thing of water here. It's like 25 ounces, 750 milliliters for $100 of water. $100. You can have it. He knows that the water is extremely scarce. That's a lot of money. So do I have to buy the water? I have the money in my wallet. I have the money. I can afford it, but it's a lot of money. Would water ever be sold for that amount of money? Everybody clear on this? So it doesn't just mean that the water is what? Absent. But the water can also be technically absent. Fi hukmin ma'dum. Everybody clear on this? You don't have the ability to use it. So it's very important concepts to pay attention to. Bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khair inshallah. The author, he says here, and before we go any further, we've done a tutorial on Hadith Disciple on tayammum. We've done a simple, easy, basic tutorial. Please check it out. Secondly, we've also discussed tayammum in Durr al-Bahiyya classes as well in the playlist. The author, he says, rahimahullah, حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها زوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنها قالت خرجنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في بعض أسفاره حتى إذا كنا بالبيداء أو بذات الجيش انقطع عقد لي فأقام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على التماسه وقام الناس معه وليسوا على ماء فأتى الناس إلى أبي بكر الصديق فقالوا ألا ترى إلى ما صنعت عائشة أقامت برسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والناس وليسوا على ماء وليس معهم ماء فجاء أبو بكر ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم واضع رأسه على فخذي قد نام فقال حبست رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والناس وليسوا على ماء وليس معهم ماء فقالت عائشة فأعتبني أبو بكر وقال ما شاء الله أن يقول وجعل يطعنني بيده في خاصرتي فلا يمنعني من التحرك إلا مكان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على فخذي. هكذا مضبوط يطعنني والظاهر أنه غلط مطبعي وجعل يطعنني بيده. قال فقام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حين أصبح على غير ماء فأنزل الله آية التيمم فتيمموا فقال أسيد بن الحضير ما هي بأول بركتكم يا آل أبي بكر قالت فبعثنا البعير الذي كنت عليه فأصبنا العقد تحته. Hadith says, narrated Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we set out with Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam on one of his journeys till we reached Al-Bayda or Dhatul Jaysh. A necklace of mine was broken and lost. Allah's Messenger ﷺ stayed there to search for it. And so did the people along with him. There was no water at that place. So the people went to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu and said, don't you see what Aisha has done? She has made the Messenger of Allah or Allah's Messenger ﷺ and the people stay where there is no water and they have no water with them. Abu Bakr came while Allah's Messenger ﷺ was sleeping with his head on my thigh. He said to me, you have detained Allah's Messenger ﷺ and the people where there is no water and they have no water with them. So he admonished me and said what Allah wished him to say and hit me on my flank with his hand. Nothing prevented me from moving because of pain but the position of Allah's Messenger ﷺ on my thigh. Allah's Messenger ﷺ got up when dawn broke and there was no water. So Allah revealed the verses of tayammum. So they all performed tayammum. Usayd ibn Hudayr said, "Oh, the family of Abu Bakr, this is not the first blessing of yours." Then the camel on which I was riding was caused to move from its place, and the necklace was found beneath it. So that's hadith number 206. Then afterwards, we have hadith number 207. What's important here is that we're going to read all of these hadiths together. Or we'll take them one by one, then we're going to read the commentary of Nawawi. The first hadith teaches us what? What does the first hadith teach us? Narrated 206. The Sahaba were in a place. They didn't bring any water for wudu. They had no water for wudu. And it was time to pray. They had to make salah. And the Prophet ﷺ, he remained in the place for a reason, which is not the most important thing right now. Abu Bakr was upset. Some of the people were upset at what Aisha had did, and she was the cause of the people remaining in a place in which there was no water. Naam? Tayyib. Then Allah Azza wa Jal, he sent down what? The verse of Tayammum. From what surah? What surah? أي surah? Surah Al-Ma'idah am An-Nisa? Allah sent down ayat, or one ayah of regarding what? tayammum. What does that mean? Allah sent down an ayah that it was what? Prescribed it. I sent. The permissibility, the obligation of purifying yourself for the salat when there's no actual water. Everybody clear on this? This hadith is basically teaching us what? The reason why this verse, we don't know what surah it's from yet, was sent down because of what? A reason. So we benefit from this hadith outside of fiqh and hadith if we were studying what? Tafsir and the sciences of the Quran. So you're reading Tafsir ibn Kathir, you're reading the ayat, you're reading it in the salat, the imam reads it in the salat, and now what comes into your mind? This is how it was revealed. And this was the reason behind it being what? Prescribed. Everybody clear on this? Everybody understands? That's this long story. Aisha, the camel, the necklace, Abu Bakr, he hit her, the Prophet was sleeping. Everybody clear on this? This was the reason why the ayah was being what? Revealed. Once the ayah was revealed, the act was prescribed. Everybody clear on this? So what does the Quran tell us about tayammum? We didn't get into the other hadith that speak about how to make tayammum, what to do. In other words, this goes to show us is that if we don't know the Quran well, we're going to have difficulty studying and learning fiqh. Because what to do? What do we benefit from this hadith if we don't know what it says in the actual? Everybody clear on this or not? Everybody understand this? Are there no hadiths on tayammum? No, there are many hadiths on tayammum. But not this one right here that talks about the actual way of what? Doing it. What this teaches us, the time when it's permissible to make tayammum. When you're somewhere, you have to pray and you don't have water. What about if it's cold? What about kadha? What about this? What about that? Those are all separate outside of this one hadith. Everybody clear on this or not? So Allah Azza wa Jal, He sent down the ayah, the verses about tayammum based off of a reason, a haja. And it also, once again, reinforces what we said about the mercy and the kindness. Everybody clear on this or not? Everybody understand this or not? That's the highlighting point. That's the main lesson from this what? Hadith in this chapter. And what? In this chapter. What else does this story pertain to with regards to Quranic revelation? Quranic revelation. Quranic revelation. Quranic revelation. Anybody else know? Khalid? Yusuf? Aisha, her lost necklace in the desert.
Oh, the story of that she was accused of.
Ifk. Qissatul Ifk. What surah? Surah An-Nur. What's the ayah of tayammum? Khairan inshallah. Right. So, the highlighting point, the fiqh point of the hadith, clear or not? Extremely clear. Right. What benefits do we take from this hadith? With regards to aqeedah. We take that the Prophet ﷺ, the Messenger of Allah, did not know the unseen. He didn't know what? La ya'lamul ghayb. If he knew the unseen, then he would have done what? He would have said what? No. Water is simple. Find him where the water is in the desert. He would have done what? Where the necklace was. It was under the camel. As they say, right beneath your what? Nose. The camel was sitting on the necklace. They looked. No one knew there was what? Now, the people in the desert, it's hot, they're thirsty, they're exhausted. His wife, his honor, the munafiqeen, this, that, so on and so forth. If he knew that the necklace was there, wouldn't it be easy and simple for him to just do what? But he didn't do that because he what? He didn't know as the rest of the people knew. Everybody clear on this? So this hadith clearly affirms that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ does not know the what? The unseen. Everybody understand this? So this is a fact that we take in Aqeedah, but we're not necessarily studying what? Aqeedah. Everybody clear on this or not? Moving forward. The next fact that we take from this hadith is what? The virtue of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. Also the virtue of Aisha radiallahu anha. And the virtue of the Prophet or Abu Bakr's bloodline radiallahu ta'ala anhu. We also take from this hadith that the sunnah is to come before one's lineage. Hadith before blood. Deen before blood. My son, my wife, my mother, my uncle. It comes first. The deen comes first. Abu Bakr became mad at who? Who was his blood, flesh and blood. Because she upset and she put who in a hardship? Were they related? Everybody clear on this? Abu Bakr Siddiq loved Muhammad more than Aisha. Everybody clear on this? Is that you should love the deen of Islam more than your what? Family. The sunnah should come first. There should be no conflict. I can visit my family. I can drink tea with my mother, even if she's not a Muslim. There's no prohibition on that. That's my grandmother. Everybody clear on this? But if it was a conflict between make salah and go somewhere with my family. Everybody clear on this? Drink a cup of wine with my grandmother or say, no, it's haram, I can't do that. Everybody understands? My grandmother's going to be offended if I don't take a drink. She's going to become upset. You used to drink. I'm your grandmother. It's just one cup. Nobody's watching. What's the problem? Big deal. We're family. It's dishonor in our culture, our background to turn down a glass of what? Wine. You say, I'm sorry, I can't drink it. Because I don't love you as my grandmother, my Catholic grandmother, Christian grandmother? No. Because my religion is more beloved to me than you are to me as my grandmother. And this is something that we have to pay attention to. Everybody clear on this? And say death before what? Dishonor. Everybody understand this? Death before dishonor. I'd rather someone be upset at me instead of Allah being angry with me. Everybody clear on this? I'd rather be you mad at me than Allah being mad at me. Everybody clear? But it shouldn't be like that. It should be no absolute type of thing. Allah doesn't cut you off from your family members. If you have family members that don't practice, they're not the best Muslims, they have problems, okay, you can still visit them. Give them a gift, talk to them. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody understand this? They shouldn't be your closest friends. You sit around and laugh, they talk, they mock people, they talk about women and this and that, but you can still visit your family. So it shouldn't be no absolute thing. And many ignorant people, they do this. If you love us, then come with us and sit with us. Don't go to the mosque. Don't wear the dress. Trim your beard for the graduation. Everybody understand this? Come to the party afterwards if you truly love your family. Some people that say this, and that's oppression. That's oppression. Someone who's mature, who's wise, who's a professional is going to say, all right, look, obviously you're a Muslim, we're such and such. We're not going to get along when it comes to issues of religion and creed and theology. So the smart thing to do is to do what? We can sit, we can talk on neutral grounds. But someone who's a bigot, someone who's biased, he's going to say, oh, either this or either that. It shouldn't come to that. From the Muslim side or from the what? How about clear this? From the pious Muslim, from the Sunni Muslim, or the people that are barely practicing. It shouldn't come to this absoluteness. You're either going to do it our way or don't come and visit us at all. That's childish. That's immature. Everybody clear on this? But if it did come down to it, then what has to come first? Sunnah. And say, malish. I'm sorry, granny, grandma, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I can't compromise on what? My faith, just to please you. And that's what Abu Bakr Siddiq, anhu, he loved the Prophet more than what? Anyone else. He was upset at his daughter because she upset the Messenger of Allah. And this is a tremendous paramount lesson from this hadith. Moving forward, we also take from this hadith is the affection of the Prophet. He's affectionate. He lie down, he put his head upon Aisha's leg, Aisha's thigh. So a man should be affectionate to his wife. A man should be affectionate to his wife. He shouldn't be cold to his wife. He should be affectionate to his wife. Are we clear on this? Even if you're a great man, was there anyone bigger than the Messenger of Allah? More brave, more manly, more jealous, more knowledgeable, more busy? Anything that you can think about that will prevent a man from being affectionate with his wife, or prevent a man from being romantic with his wife, no matter what it is. I'm busy, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. I'm serious. The Messenger of Allah was bigger and more. We're going to agree on this or not? He fought more. He led more. He spent more. He prayed more. He fasted more. Everybody understand this? Yet and still he found time to do what? With his wife. So this is a lesson for all husbands. Khairan, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then many other fawaid. Another faid that we can take from this hadith here is the permissibility of wearing a necklace for a woman. And that's another fiqh issue when we talk about gold. Dhahab muhallaq. Gold that is in a circle, quote unquote. It's a very long discussion. Some people say you can't have a gold necklace. You can't have a gold bracelet. You can't have a gold bangle. It can't have it can't be in a circular form. Hadith says iqt or iqat. It says a necklace. It's what? That's a long discussion in itself. But this is from the fawaid of that. The hadith doesn't say that it was gold, but it's possible that it what? It was gold. It's possible. Wallahu alam. Khairan inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another faida we take from this hadith is what? Is from the sunnah to have jealousy for the religion and have jealousy for the deen. Whereas the Messenger, Abu Bakr, was jealous for the deen and angry and upset, as we've said already. Another faida we take from this hadith is what? It's sometime to look in the most simple places to find something that's lost. Before you go far, dig this, you get upset, you get frustrated. You start throwing things around in your room, looking for your car keys, looking for your wallet, looking for your watch, looking for your kufi. Just calm down, settle down, and just think on a smaller, simpler scale. And perhaps Allah will allow you to find the missing possession or that lost possession under the camel for which they had looked for the necklace. Khairan inshallah. We'll stop here tonight, bidnillahi ta'ala, with regards to the first hadith, hadith 206. Next class will be hadith 207, inshallah ta'ala. And we'll go deeper into the different specific rulings of the tayammum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullah khairan.